Okay, Thursday, 4th of January 2024. How cool is that? So, travelling. Why travel? Travel to every corner of the UK. Travel. Because in December, for Christmas and New Year's, and December in general, I was travelling a lot. Poland, Warsaw, Poznan, Bialystok, East Midlands in England, North Wales for New Year's. I was all over the place. So I feel like a changed man after travelling so much in December. It's amazing. I don't think in 1 month I've travelled so much, but never mind about me. Why travel? The short answer is you grow. You grow as a man, you grow as an individual. It nurtures your soul, first of all. Okay? That's a very intrinsic way of looking at it. But a more extrinsic way would be the controlled stress. The controlled stress of travel, the schedule, the itinerary, the places to be, the airlines, the airports, everything else, the conversion, the packing, the luggage, everything. All these little small things here and there, these points of stress, help you, they enhance you, they help you grow as an individual. If you know how to handle getting different kinds of flights or handling different kinds of cultures, people, places, food, cuisines, you name it, languages you can't even speak, then you can handle more things in life. Ultimately, it expands your comfort zone. But that level of controlled stress is very, very powerful because you grow as an individual because of it. And because you grow, it nurtures your soul. So, it nurtures your soul as in the sense of you become a more international person, you become a more wiser person, you become a more experienced person. You've got more life experience, basically. You've got more mileage. That's a powerful situation to be in life, where you've grown, you're changing all the time, which is why I was remarking on how much I've travelled in December, not in Christmas, not during New Year's, but in December, travelled a lot and grown a lot in ways that right now I might not be able to articulate because it's instinctual. It goes in the soul, so to speak, first, on the subconscious, and then bubbles up through into the more conscious side of me in how I think, behave, act, prioritize everything, plan, standardize, you name it. But it's invaluable, totally invaluable to travel, to go to new places, see new parts of the world. Because also, when you see how society works in different places and cultures and peoples and places, you understand more perspective. You have different perspectives on life. You understand how, it's more efficient things done this way as opposed to that way. You understand that you become grateful, for example, that things are done like this, not like that. You have a more appreciation for how society would grow and develop because you see how everything is changing over there and over here it's stagnant, for example. You become more worldly. You notice and understand more things in life. For example, one thing I noticed while I was in Poland was how much of an issue the language barrier can be. I discovered, keyword is discovered, how by not knowing how to speak the language, how much of an issue that was, and I had certain experiences. But when I go to Spain, the issue was not as prevalent because I was able to speak the language. But just by going to different places, I realized something in human behavior or psychology or whatever it is, this experience that I discovered, again, that keyword discover, and then I can meditate on that, think about it, reverse engineer it, and apply it into life, apply it into business. So by going to different places, I was able to experience new kinds of problems, new kinds of scenarios that I'm able to reverse engineer and put into my business. Very important. And that's an experience. There's all kinds of unique experiences you can only get by traveling. You can only get by going somewhere new and different that expands the comfort zone. This is another intrinsic value of traveling. The extrinsic will be the controlled stress and the soul, comfort zone. And the extrinsic, intrinsic, which one's which? The opposite would be extrinsic then, would be I'm seeing more of the world, more of society, that I can then look and take things and apply elsewhere in my life. That's powerful. And I used the word discovery earlier because by going somewhere and experiencing new things, it shortens the time needed to discover something. the principles I learned while in Poland, for example, that I can apply in my business, and the things I learned elsewhere in Spain, discovered while in Spain, if I didn't go to the place and spend the time, money, energy, say, the 2-hour flight to Poland, if I didn't spend that time and energy going there and witnessing it firsthand, I would have ultimately discovered that principle. Instead of 2 hours and 2 days or whatever, it could have been 2 years. So by going to new places, seeing new societies and peoples and places, attitudes and priorities and values, I'm able to shorten what I call the cost of discovery to learn new, potentially priceless piece of information or facts or phenomena in the world. It takes less time to discover something. Otherwise, I could have discovered the same thing over the course of 2 years instead. What I call the cost of discovery. By going somewhere new, I can discover how things are done elsewhere, reverse engineer it, think about it, meditate it, consult ChatGPT, and extrapolate a principle that I can apply elsewhere in my life, whether in my culture, my attitude, my behavior, my priorities, my values, my business, anything, my handling of clients and customers, all kinds of things. But I have to physically go somewhere and learn it and see it for myself. And then also have to physically go there because it expands the comfort zone. I become more of a wiser international man. Powerful. It's a very powerful situation to be in life, where you can handle most scenarios because you've seen it before. You've heard it, you've seen it, you've been in this situation before, you know what to do. You're more worldly. Okay, now then, why not just watch, for example, a load of travel vlogs? Why not watch those instead? Look, you want to go to a country, just watch 100 of videos on vlogs. By all means, go ahead. You're an adult, you can do what you want. However, understand also survivorship bias, the concept of survivorship bias, the cognitive bias, survivorship bias. Someone's experience in one city, in one particular street, would not be the same as your experience. Simple as that. The same place can be seen differently by two different people, subjective opinions. Fair enough. So for example, I watched a lot of travel vlogs about Mexico before I went to Mexico. But when I went there, I learned that actually, ultimately, everything's got a price tag there. Everything is for sale if you can find the right person and find the right price. Everything's for sale. Tipping culture is very big. Now, those kind of things, let's say the facts of life in this case, would not necessarily be conveyed or talked about in those vlogs. So someone's experience wouldn't mention or talk about those things I mentioned. Everything's for sale. Okay, whoop-de-doo, who cares? But then remember, we want to also travel to experience life. We can take that experience, deconstruct it, reverse engineer it, extract the principles from it, and apply that to my own life, to your own life, to your own business, to your own livelihood. Powerful. And then, when you know what these things are like over there, you then become more worldly, more international, more traveled, more experienced. You got more life experience. Priceless. So, for example, also, when I was in France 10 years ago, I was in a supermarket there, and I noticed that they had electric tags for the price tag instead of a piece of paper. And I was always thinking, why is that? What's that all about? It's much more efficient and quick way to change the price of things in a supermarket as opposed to changing the paper. That's analog technology, piece of paper, printing it off, analog method. A digital method will be a centralized database in the office upstairs, and they would change the price of things like that. Very interesting. So then you can say, if you're humble and you're introspective and retrospective enough, you can say, right, how can I apply that principle, what I saw just there, what I discovered, into my own business, into my own life? Interesting. So we're not just traveling for the fun of it. By all means, have fun, go places, have fun. Again, you're an adult, do what you want. But understand that by seeing different places and people, we can take the lessons, we can cherry pick information and experiences from those places and apply it to our own life. That way we're traveling not just for the adventure and the fun and to explore new places and touch new parts of the world, by all means, but we're using it as a life lesson. We're using it to grow. We're becoming better people from it. Again, a mix of the controlled stress. We can handle more scenarios better, comfort zones expanding, and we learn more about the world because we discovered more. It took me in the end 1 day to discover that phenomena in France with the price tag. But it might take, if I had not gone, it might have taken me years and years and years to discover that same principle, that same little event. Cost of discovery. That's quite powerful. That, do people talk about that concept? Don't know, you tell me. That's another conversation. But travel to see more of the world, expand your comfort zone, have the controlled stress, and discover new ways of doing things. Culture, people, places, cuisine, everything. One thing I like to do is find something I like about a culture, the way people behave, and take that one specific thing that looks useful in life, take that and apply it to my own. And other things I don't really bother with. I like this, but I don't like that. I like the way they do this, not the way they do that. For example, in Bulgaria, there's a bit of a custom to hand jewelry, not hand to hand, but putting it on the counter first. Why? Yeah, superstition, for good luck. Okay, fair enough. I like that. It shows more respect to jewelry, where I don't put it in your hand because you can drop it. And what happens if you drop it? You could lose it, you could damage it. But if you put it out on the table, on the counter, and then they pick it up, shows more respect, shows more dignity. Another thing I heard years ago in Israel, I don't know about now or who, but in general, I heard that when they wash their hands, they wash the hand up to the elbow. Oh, very clean, very hygienic, you could say. Okay, you could say law of diminishing returns, a little excessive, but still the principle is pretty sound, very thorough. I like that. That seems pretty cool. That sounds like a really useful thing to have and consider in the future. Very nice. And I wouldn't have discovered these things had I not gone to those places, seen these things, been humble and introspective or curious enough to learn about those places. So travel for the life experience, the comfort zone, the controlled stress, and to discover new ways of doing things. Powerful. Those two combined together, you can really accelerate your learning and growth and become a stronger, wiser, faster, smarter, more agile, more adaptable, more international person. Powerful. It's a very powerful situation to be in life. So yes. Why travel? I just told you why. How cool is that? But otherwise, today is Thursday, 4th of January, 2024. You will see me tomorrow.